It is such a pleasure to sit and have this conversation with you today and learn a little bit about you. I want to start this conversation because this morning I was reading your bio, reading your story for the second or third time to prepare for this conversation, and I understand that you didn't, have the best beginnings. Can you tell us the 60-second version of a little bit about yourself and why that set you up to assume this role with the school board?
Thank you for that question and this opportunity. And to keep it simple, the typical urban youth story, originally from Syracuse, New York. My biological father spent most of my youth in prison in a place called Attica. My mom struggled with substance abuse, and my stepfather decided that New York was not the best fit for raising a beautiful blended family, so he brought us to Jacksonville with no family for hope and a better future. With that being said, I'm so glad that he made that decision on behalf of our family. And with certain type of traumas, and when you look at literacy and research, I couldn't read until the 5th grade. Merrill Road Elementary, Duval County Public School, the best teacher I have ever had in my life, Miss Tona Penland, came in. She taught me how to read. She tutored me every day after school in reading, and lo and behold, she helped stir up something in me. And there is not necessarily a public school to private prison pipeline, but a literacy to prison pipeline.
Third grade.
And she helped intercept that. And basically, I look at my life and my story as paying it forward.
Yeah.
And she really helped draw up a passion for reading, literacy, education, and lo and behold, I have a PhD in Christian education and urban leadership.
That is amazing. The statistic is if you can't read on a 3rd grade level in the 3rd grade, that I think it's 7 times more likely now, 7 or 10 times more likely now, to not graduate high school and put you on track for prison. So kudos to you for that accomplishment. We'll start with, give us the 60-second version. Tell us a little bit about your background and your experience that has positioned you to take on this role for District 5 School Board.
And you said in 60 seconds? Wow.
I'll give you 90.
90?
Yeah, your
90
elevator spiel.
Okay. So now, Tiffany, thank you all so much for having me. I'm not a native of Jacksonville. I've actually been in Jacksonville over 25 years now. Came here to attend the University of North Florida, the major in education, secondary education, to be exact. Became on campus the student body president, served on the board of trustees there, got very active on campus, and fell in love with the work. One, politics has always been one of my passions, if you will, to learn about. But the other has always been education and teaching. And so that's why I came. I come from a lineage of educators. All my aunts, uncles, all taught in the school system because my grandmother started that. And so if you went off to college in my family, you went off to be an educator. And so I went off to do that. Had a unique experience on my field of study, which caused me to switch from education to political science. And so I went from education to political science, really trying to understand policy and how laws are created here in the state of Florida. Upon graduating, I was honored to have the opportunity of really with a choice, and that was to work for a lawmaker in Miami or in Jacksonville. And so I decided, because Jacksonville has so much potential, I decided to stay here in Jacksonville, and I did that in the Florida House of Representatives for over 10 years before I transitioned and got a challenge to become a substitute teacher. And I did, the challenge was really 2 months, and that turned into 2.5 years of me subbing in our classrooms and really seeing education from a different lens than I was seeing it from in Tallahassee. I then turned around and took a job with the I'm a Star Foundation, where we truly do believe every student is a star, every student is smart, every student is talented, and regardless of their background, every student is, of course, resilient. And so been with the I'm a Star Foundation for over now 13 years, which started off as a year stunt. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So you just shared that you are originally from Jacksonville, just right down the road. If you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and your experience that has led you up to this point and prepared you to sit on the school board for District 5. If you could give us the elevator pitch version.
Okay, yes. Basically, I am from Jacksonville, native, right down the street in Grand Park. Went to the public schools, Thomas Jefferson. Graduated from Paxson High School. Went to EWU. It was EWC then. I went off after I finished college. I went to the military. 30 years, 4 combat tours. Pretty bad stuff. And it's what I did over there that gives me experience that I'm going to lead into. While in the military, I served on different commissions under the Obama administration, Public Service Recognition Week, and some under the Clinton administration. And I worked in civil governance. In civil governance, we actually helped build schools and put together infrastructure, working with Department of State personnel, Department of Agriculture, and foreign dignitaries and educators and leaders. When I retired from the military, I got picked up at Florida State College to work in adult continuing education. I also was an adjunct professor there. I also do mentorship program, the curriculum writer for Biscayne High School. That is a charter school to do life skills training for the young men there. And currently, I am the assessment coordinator for child care training. And what led me to the school board is, first of all, I talked to a number of teachers, and they were very dissatisfied. So I said, well, why don't you run? I asked 7 teachers, and they said, I don't want to get into that fight. So since I am a stakeholder, I have a grandson in the system. My kids went to public schools. I have 4 daughters, 2 boys, 6 grandchildren.
Wow.
I don't like what I'm seeing. I've been in the schools, and I said something needs to be done. And I have a wide range of operational experience in the military, looking at things from a much broader perspective rather than a narrow perspective. And I think that's what's needed on the school board, along with the experience of teaching. I was a track and field coach while in the military also.